what are some as a married woman and as a mother yourself, if a black woman that's like in her mid early 20s to mid 20s, I'll say even to late 20s, that she knows that she aspires to have a family one day, and she wants to be married, and she wants to do things quote unquote the right way. you know if she said, Miss Brittany, how do I what are some telltale signs of a man being dusty, of a black man being a broke boy? Of what are some telltale signs of a black man that I should just completely avoid? What would you tell her?
Dusty is so mean. Um, I'll say this, Noble. Unfortunately, I am in the process of getting divorced. Uh, I know, but I love Jeremy's a great person, so I would never say anything bad. Never, never, never. He's a great person. We're we're gonna go on wild family trips this month, but we are not a good match. We're not compatible. I know, I know. It's
Are you being
fine.
serious?
Yeah, yeah. We're in the process of divorce. Yeah, yeah. Who filed for divorce? Me, of course. Why would a man file for divorce for me? Are you kidding, D. Shantae? Ah, thank you, Eve. Thank you. Yeah, didn't
Are you
work
being
out.
serious, Britt?
No, I'm so serious.
Okay, we're not gonna get on to it on this live, but
Of
we're
course
gonna talk
not.
later. But how long? How long has? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. How long has this been?
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while.
Are y'all still cohabitating?
No, but he travels so much. Honestly, it's been like that part is almost super normal because we're so used to not being in the same space a lot because he travels for it.
But you guys still are cohabitating.
I would no, no, I wouldn't say we're cohabitating, but we're used to like back and forthing a lot.
Just say yes, Britt.
No, we're not cohabiting. He doesn't live here, but it's like a hard. I don't want to sound pretentious. Like it's like multiple residents. I don't want to sound like that, but it's like
Okay, we don't have to get on to it here, right here,
yeah,
but
it sounds weird. So I'd be like, no, we don't. But this will I have multiple residents. It sounds weird. Yeah.
okay. Do you feel that you've exhausted every option to try to make this work before deciding to pull the plug?
Of course, it's been 15 years, so we're okay. Yeah, you wait that time frame, you know. It's okay. It's not. It's okay. I'm okay.
S- So, Britt, you have 4 kids.
I do.
And look, we'll talk later. You don't have to answer anything that you don't want to answer right now. But do
Okay.
you and I know stuff is super fresh right now, so you may not even be able to accurately answer this, but do you aspire to are you going to like be seeking companionship or marriage, after you get out of your divorce?
Maybe at some point I like being a wife. I like the wife stuff. So I like being a wife. So I think at some point, yeah, I'll be seeking that again.
Okay, Britt, we okay. Since we you brought this up, so we have to again, we're not gonna talk about everything here, but so I'm just curious though, Britt, like honestly. So, you know, you're 36 now, right?
I'm almost 38.
Yeah, okay. Damn. See, bro, I've been locked in with these people
No,
for
but
so
damn,
long, bro.
damn.
I done seen these people have like 2, 3 birthdays. Okay, but yeah, you are. But okay, so Britt, so 38 years old, you have 4 kids, but you have young kids though. you have young kids. I'm just genuinely asking. When you go back into the dating market as a 38-year-old woman with four young kids, how like what? I'm being serious. What do you? How do you see, like? What do you think your prospects are going to be looking like? And before you even answer that question, are you interested in being a stepmom?
I think my preference would be to be a stepmom.
Okay.
Yeah, I would prefer. Even in like putting my toe in the market, I think I would prefer someone who already has children than someone who doesn't and wants me to have kids. Um, yeah, I'd rather someone who already is like been a dad, who's giving dad energy.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't know.
And you don't have to answer again. You don't have to answer anything you don't ask. But like Britt, I mean, you dated a
Someone
little.
says she gonna have some options.
No, look,
I like
look,
that.
look. You dated a little bit when you were younger, but
Mhm.
you didn't really like have the opportunity to like date like all throughout your like mid late 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's really going to be new for you. So I'm just curious to know, when you like when everything is signed, sealed, and delivered, are you going to be looking for something like super serious, like off the rip, or are you just going to try to like get to like know some people?
No, I think when I'm ready to date, I'm gonna date for marriage. I like being a wife. So I think when I'm ready and intentional, I'll do that. But I don't even see it being a problem. I know like people are like even my even friends of mine who have zero kids, never have been married, are so worried. And it's weird to me because when I think of the women I know in my family who had kids and they got divorced and went out and dated again, even if they had multiple kids, they always got married again. And their second marriage was great and perfect for them. Like I don't know. I can't think of someone that was in my family that didn't get married again. Their second husband was great. So for me, that's not something I'm like afraid of. I feel like as a person when I dated when I was younger and then got married, and now that I'm older and I get married, my personality remains the same. When I go on a date, it's like I'm trying to fill you out, but I'm also I want to have a great time. I'm a person who likes to have a great time, and it gets contagious. So I feel like it's more of a problem of me telling my options that I chose someone different rather than I don't have options.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at Eve. I'm laughing at Eve in the comments because Eve in the comments says I asked her how old she was. She said between 35 and 40. With
Who
some
said that?
is Eve. She says that she's also getting a
Is that
divorce.
how old I am?
No, I was asking her how old she
I'm
was.
sorry, Eve.
Miss Eve, are you do you have
Oh,
kids
she
as
said
well?
between.
Or are you childless, Miss Eve? Wow. Bro, this is like a bro. This is why I have the greatest show on earth, people. Like you got to understand. I've been out the mix. I'm moved on to bigger and better things, but this right now is like a chapter of Revelations. What?
So I have a question for you, Big Noble, the host. You
Yes.
seem afraid for her. And she seems like she's ready and unafraid and solid out here. What's up?
No, I'm not afraid for her at all.
What are you afraid
Um,
of?
I'm not afraid for her at all. But like me and Britt been having a relationship for some years now. But I just, I like that. I didn't know about this until now, and just the reality. And Mr. Humblezilla, you're shit. You about to be 39 this year. You've been alive longer. You know about this more than me. The thing is, Miss Return to Sender, a lot of women will be in relationships, whether that's a marriage, whether it's just an intimate relationship, um, with a man, and they'll have kids, not a kid, they will have kids with that man. Um, and whether the guy cheats or whether they just don't work out for whatever reason, oftentimes, and respectfully, I say this respectfully, oftentimes the delusion of women, a lot of them think that they're going to be able to go back into the dating market as a single mother of however many kids and still have the same options that they probably may have had when they were childless, or as like childless women that look just as good as them out here. And that's just not going to be the case for most single mothers. So,
Oh,
that's why I was asking Britt about, how she thinks she's going to fare with her prospects. Like, Britt is an attractive woman, but there are a lot of women that are mothers and are attractive. But you being attractive and a guy actually wanting to take you serious is two different things.
I'm speaking as a childless woman. It's been, and I don't do very much dating, but it's been my experience that men tend, and this goes against everything that I've heard on TikTok, men tend, in my experience, tend to like women who have children because they see the hard work that they put in, they see the love for their children. As someone that's childless, I'm not very, I don't know how to say the word. I'm not very, I don't have the emotional intelligence to offer a man the things that he is expecting in a relationship. But I noticed that mothers seem to be able to offer that because they already have children. They've already been in a relationship with a man. In Brittany's case, she's already been married. She knows what to offer this man. I'm unable to do that as a single childless woman. My life revolves around me. And if it has nothing to do with me, I turn my head to it. And mothers simply cannot do that. And it's been in my experience that men tend to gravitate towards women who already have children. And I know that goes against everything I hear on TikTok, but it's been my experience that men always need someone who are caring and understanding of them. And unfortunately, as a single woman with no children, I'm not inclined to do that.
Can I say
Okay.
something? Because what she's saying is not false. And I think I'm looking in the comment section, and people are acting as if what she's saying is just to assuage my feelings, but that's not the case. Because I can think of so many people that I know in my family who have gotten married and then gotten divorced and then and they had kids and they've gotten married again much faster and had more children than my friends who were childless. I had friends who were childless, attractive, beautiful, and I've had cousins outpace them in terms of marriage and children time and time again.
Yeah.
So if I look like I'm not that worried and I'm not that stressed, it's not because I'm delusional to the market. It's because I'm aware of what marketplace I'm in. I don't know what y'all are in. I don't know who y'all are around. I don't know what the priorities are. I don't know if marriage is a priority. But in my circle, marriage is a priority, family is a priority, and it is not a huge demark on you because you prioritize family.
Okay. Hold on, Kev. Let me just say something really quick. Okay, Miss Return to Sender, I would be very, I'm gonna let Humblezilla speak, but I would be very curious to know what demographic of women, or excuse me, of men you're referring to that you're saying are more that gravitate towards single mothers more than childless women. And like, I don't know if you're speaking of single fathers. I don't know if you're speaking of childless men, because in either way it goes, to be honest with you, I just really don't know that to be the case. At the end of the day, this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm gonna let Humblezilla speak. What's up, Bam? At the end of the day, an attractive woman is going to attract men, whether it's childless men or single fathers. But again, this is the problem with a lot of women, that a lot of women have, is what does the man really ultimately desire out of you or from you? Does he want something serious from you? Does he want something long term from you? Or does he want to spend 30 to 45 minutes with you? And that's the problem, that a lot of you women that can't really differentiate at the end of the day. But go ahead, Mr. Humblezilla.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I love what Brittany said, because she's absolutely right. I think with what a lot of women get screwed up is, like Nova just said, the sexual market. Like the man that wants sexual access to you. He don't want you, he wants sexual access to you. And if a woman's already got a child, most men are going to give that woman attention if he knows she's already sexually active. If it's a woman that don't got no kids, I'm not saying she could be more sexually active than the girl that got children. But if we're talking about a man, and why it seems like these women get so much attention, is because these men, in their minds, if they're men who are looking to have a sexual interaction with a woman, they're going to go, at least the smarter bet would be, hey, this woman already got a kid, clearly, and she's not married. Okay, well, I can have it before having to marry her. There used to be an expectation back in the day in life, in society, where you had to get married to even have access to a woman. You know what I'm saying? That used to be a thing. I know that's not a thing now in modern society, because women empowered themselves, because we don't control whether you give it to us, you do. I know there's men out here that do crazy stuff and terrible things. We don't advocate for that, just for the record. But when there's a willing participants, two people, you are making the decision to allow me to enter you. So as a man, you would think that a woman has done her due diligence before she allows a man to do that. Now, unfortunately, some women, like I spoke about earlier, they haven't had a man, or haven't had a man, or had someone show them what a man should be, or anything of that nature. So they're searching for that the majority of their lives, trying to find a man and looking for what they didn't have growing up. So unfortunately, that's been the negative thing that's been kind of put on us as men. But, when we're talking about the dating market, Brittany's absolutely right. The reason why she's in a different market is because she's a woman that's been married before. So she knows the path of marriage. She's not a single woman who's seeking marriage. So a man who's not intentional with her doesn't get past a couple dates. Or a woman can, like, guys, you ain't that clever. She gonna see what you after. You're not gonna. You can only pretend for so long. I would think a woman that's been married and is intentional in dating, I think she'd be able to spot a guy who's not intentional pretty easily, especially if she's been married before. Now, these habitual girlfriends and baby mamas, of course, the revolving door keeps the spin. But she's going to have a different market, because she understands what her value is in her own eyes. So a man's going to have to, bring something to the table. He's going to have to, possibly bring a table. She's got 4 children. So obviously this man's going to have to want to be a fatherly figure, or at least at minimum, be there to support her as much as possible, because these kids do have a father. This woman, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like every time you meet a woman who is a baby mother that the man ain't there. I mean, we do have men out here who are dating women and getting other women pregnant. Clearly, Future can have as many children as he won't. Ain't no women stopping themselves from popping out babies by the man. There's value in men who have the money or the resources or the time, or they look good enough, whatever the case may be. You women choose men however you choose. But there aren't no shortages of women who will open their legs up for a man. So, I don't get why, when we have this conversation all the time, it's got to be, how irresponsible the man is, or how irresponsible the woman is. How about individuals just understand who they are, and understand that when you have a sexual action with a person and it could make a child, that maybe you should be there for that child no matter what. But that ain't the expectations of every man, and ain't the expectation of every woman, because it's women that keep children away from men. So, we going to always keep pointing fingers until people just be accountable for their own actions and understand that who you open your vagina to is a reflection of you, not us men.
So I wanted to respond to both the host and Zilla. I think the host had asked me a question as to what demographic of man would seems to be more interested in a woman that already has children versus a woman that's childless. And I also would hope that this will also answer Humble's comment. Now, as a single childless woman, and I've already spoke about my past and why I'm centered around myself and um, everything is about me. I think what happens when I meet a guy, one, legs are closed. You're not getting none of this. I'm in rehabilitation mode. So everything is about me and my rehabilitation. So when a guy thinks that he's just going to come around and have some fun with me and meet up with me, unless that's something that I want, it's not going to happen. And that many times, you know, guys don't like that, to be honest with you. They look at that and they're like, oh, she's standoffish. Oh, she's not letting her guard down. And, with the fact that I'm okay with being single and childless, these guys, will try and say things like, oh, you're going to die alone. Well, I almost died once. I came into this world alone, and so I'm not afraid to go out alone. And this is what I tell these guys. And, there's lots of times where I'll get into conversation and they're like, well, what's for dinner tonight? Whatever takeout I've decided to get. I'm not someone that has to make meals on a daily basis for children. Lots of times I notice that guys like that homely, caring type of feel. And I just don't have that as a single childless woman. I can't, I don't have that kind of heart, that kind of family feel that men, whether they're single fathers or if they don't have children themselves. In fact, I usually get along better with men who don't have children. But as soon as a man has a child, I take a step back. I say, look, hopefully the mother's in the picture. I don't want to take care of any kids. I tell them off bat, I'm not a mom, and I'm definitely not going to be taking care of children that are mine. It's okay if they visit you, but I'm not going to be sitting there making piles of dinner for a bunch of children. And it's really a pushback. These guys, they step away from that because they're not getting that feel, that homely, womanly feel that they're expecting. They're expecting women to be open and, loving. And I'm just not like that. I'm not going to make you dinner.
I think you got an ice box where your heart used to be. Honestly, I think you got an ice box where your heart used to be.
It's not an ice boxer. As someone who is single and childless, I don't make dinners for people.
You don't think if you
you want to get married? Or you don't want to get married?
If it happens, if it happens, it happens.
So it's not intentional. It's like it's the flow.
Well, if I meet someone, yes, I would like to get married. But when I talk to these guys, what they want out of me is not something that I have to give.
I think, and this is just my opinion. You can throw it in the garbage. But I think that this is a conversation that I have with a lot of my friends who haven't gotten married yet versus a lot of my family members who have been married multiple times over and they've had children and they got married again and had more children, or friends versus my friends who have never gotten married, never had children, and they have difficulty. I think the difference is intentionality. I think my friends who are like, it goes with the flow, I don't care, it is what it is, tend to be the ones who literally live it never gets serious versus my friends or family members who have been married multiple times, literally multiple times, they end up getting married again because their intention every time they hit the market again is to get married or to find their person. And most of them now are with their person. They've been with that person for a while. So hopefully that's their person for life. But there's always this intentionality instead of everything is just happening to me. So I think with myself going back into the market, when I was single before, I never thought things just happen to me. I remember telling my guy friend before I married my first husband, 6 months before I married him, I was like, you know what? I'm about to get married. I'm gonna get proposed to. I'm gonna get married. I'm gonna have kids. And I remember he showed up to my wedding 6 months later, and he was like, "You're crazy, and I'll never doubt you again," because I made the intention 6 months before, and 6 months later, it came to fruition. So I think that may be something you might want to look into. It's just like making a decision. Is this what I definitively want or not? Do I care if it happens or not? If you don't care if it happens, fine. It doesn't matter, go with the flow. But if you actually care, if you have kids or if you get married, then make your intentionality, set it, and it will happen for you.
I want to say something. So, well, first, Shantae, I didn't even invite you up here. I think that was a moderator that had invited you up here. But it's all good. But to misreturn to sender, respectfully, ma'am, it sounded like when you were talking, about like characteristics and quality characteristic traits and just quality and being able to do certain domestic things and things of that nature. There's single mothers that are capable and do those things. There are childless women that are capable of and do those things. There are married women that are capable of and do those things. And look, I know you said you've had, you consider 2 boyfriends in your life, 2 serious relationships or whatever. At the end of the day, especially nowadays, especially with what, with what the woman subscribed to and things of that nature, I'll say most men, don't have intentions of having anything serious with a lot of women. Because they understand, even though some of them get into it and neglect it, a lot of men understand like what comes behind commitment. Even to a childless woman, they understand that now I'm going to have to make sure this woman is good, spiritually, emotionally, financially, physically. I'm going to have to take this woman out on dates. I'm going to have to spend money on this woman. I'm going to have to love her and just everything that comes with being in a committed relationship to someone. A lot of men do not really have intentions of being in serious relationships with women to start off with. So if most men already don't have intentions of being in a serious relationship with most childless women, what in the world makes you think that, he understands the commitment that comes behind being with a childless woman, but now that childless woman has her little peanut head son that has 7 cavities in his mouth and a bad attitude and be cussing all the time. And then he also has a little sister. So now this childless man, let's talk about childless man. I'm not even talking about single fathers. So now this childless man has to be everything he has to be for that woman. And he also has to be a provider and things of that nature for her children. A lot of men are not rushing to sign up for that. I'm sorry I'm sorry to tell you the truth. A lot of men are not rushing to sign up to be in that type of situation.
That's why I came up here because of that. I wanted to debunk that claim. It was weird hearing it saying that it was weird hearing it saying that men gravitate towards that. That's what they want to pick. Like, no, that's not. That's far from the truth. They don't. They're especially guys without kids. They're not just running out here like, ooh, here, sign me up for this. She has 7 babies. I want to be the father of those 7 babies. I want that financial burden. Yes, please sign me. No, that's not the truth. That's far from the truth.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Now I'll say this. Now. If the guy has kids, if the guy has a kid, or if he has kids plural, then that might be a little different. He might say, "Oh, you know what?
I
I got
experience that more with
I,
childish kids, childish men than men with children. Actually, isn't
But
that weird? I'm with you on that. It's
I'm gonna give you
weird,
this.
but I'm just trying to tell you what I've experienced so
I
far
hear
in
you.
three of my
I hear
kids.
you. I hear you. And you know, you might have the luxury because of I say that you're a beautiful woman. You might have that luxury, but I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this, and I'm gonna land. So the guys with kids might be like, hey, you know, I have a kid, so I don't mind getting in that equation. And she has two, I have one. You know, my little kid can play with their little kids, so it could be a beautiful thing, and we can work together as this goes. But 9 times out of 10, let's keep it honest, y'all. For the majority of guys who don't have kids, that's normally not a no-go because they want to start a lineage on their own. They don't want to have an already made family. And I'm not taking away from some of the guys, they will. Some of the guys who don't have kids, they will. But for the most, we got to keep it transparent. It's a no-go. They want to start their own family. And it's going to be hard for that to happen because a lot of women out here already got kids.
Okay,
So it's going to be difficult for them. But
can
go
I say
ahead.
this?
Go ahead.
What I'm bumping up against is that men who are familiar with who I am, once they found out that I'm getting divorced, I've had marriage proposals already from men who are childless, and some of the things that they're saying on the dates is like they want a Brittany Kelly baby, and I'm saying this because they're familiar with the protocol that I do with my kids, and it's very selfish. It's almost like they want to make sure they marry someone they already know is going to be a certain type of mother, and they're childless, but they just want. It has nothing to do with me. They're not trying to marry me. They're trying to marry the like the production of their own child. Does that make sense?
Okay, I want to say one thing, and then humble to look at speak, and then you can respond to what we say, Mr. Turner Center. And Secret Identity was spot on with everything that he said. And then another thing that I forgot to mention that he also forgot to mention, you know, a lot of I understand that, Eve. No hard feelings, no hard feelings. You're still beautiful. Um, um, you know, a lot of times these women that already be having kids, especially if they have multiple kids, they're not really interested in having any more kids. So why? And that's just the truth. They're not interested in having any more kids. So it doesn't make any sense. Most childless men are not going to be rushing to sign up to be in something serious with that. So he wants to have his own family. Like Secret Identity said, he wants to start his own lineage. But this woman already has kids, and for the most part, is not really interested in having any more kids. So that's just not something that they're rushing to sign up for. Go ahead, Humblezilla, and then you can reply after he's done, Miss Return Sender.
I'll be quick. I'll speak from. I was a single, childless man before. I'm a father now. Um, when I didn't have children, a woman having a child wasn't an end all and be all for me. It was more so about like, was the man that she was dealing with, was he a danger? Was he a danger to me? Was he trying to hurt me because I was trying to help his child, or I'm trying to be with the child's mother and he ain't let go yet? Like, I care more about my safety and the safety of these children, and the woman third, because she got to care about her safety too. You know what I mean? So it's like I worry about me because I got to be here for myself and my family to care about me. Then I got to worry about this child because I don't want no child to be harmed. And then the woman, she picked this man, so she third. I'm just saying that's why if y'all thought she was gonna be first or second, no, I'm first because I don't got nothing to do with neither one of them. That's his kid, that's his old lady. But anyway, so when you're talking about a man who has a child, I have an option to date a woman that got a child or don't got a child. Me having a child ain't a negative as if it would be if a other man, had a child. My child live in my home. So when women see me, they're like, hey, this kid live in his crib. Like, this man gotta be smart. He gotta be something. He got full custody of his kid. Like, that ain't an easy thing. You don't know many men that got full custody of their kid. Not saying that it don't happen, but clearly this man has demonstrated to the courts that he can provide safe, suitable housing. He can do what's in the best interest of a child, and he got this kid out of the home of a mother into his home as a black man in America. Trust me, I don't have a problem getting a woman. whether she got a kid or not, I think men mentality wise, they not gonna deal with a woman that got a kid over a woman that don't, because they don't want the responsibility. A lot of these men ain't fathers, so why would they want to deal with a woman that instantly makes them a father? And not only instantly makes them a father, makes them a father to a child that's not even theirs. Like, that's not even gonna be smart as a young man, especially knowing what anybody who's been, got to our age, the older age, they'll know automatically, like, hey, it's a lot of responsibility. Do you want to sign up for that? That's why you don't see a lot of older men signing up for that. You see them signing up to having sexual relations with women, but you don't see them having give them their last name, make them beneficiaries, make these women executive estates and all that type of stuff. Like, you don't see that. You see the baby mother. You can have a child, but you don't get my last name. You can have a child, but you don't get my last name. You know what I'm saying? That type of stuff. We see that. So, you got. I mean, that's just how I feel about it. I'm a single man. I believe that if I wanted to date a woman that didn't have kids, I would have options. Want to date a woman that had multiple kids, I would have options. The one thing I don't want to deal with is the multiple baby daddies and individuals that want to take money from men just because they're a man and you want somebody to take care of your kid. Them type of women I'm gonna try to stay far away from. But there are women out here who ain't seeking a man to come into the household and do nothing. But any man that's seeking to be in that household, he do know he need to contribute something, and that's two different things.
Go ahead, Miss Return Sender.
Yeah, what I'm hearing is that the responsibility is high when a man comes into a situation when there are children. Some men can take care of that responsibility. Some men cannot. Not all men are made the same. Now, I think what most people are saying is that men aren't rushing to go to be with a woman who has already has children, but I can say that he's not rushing, but eventually that's where he ends up. He may not be rushing. It may not be his intention to be with a woman who has children, but that's where he ends up. And the reason why I say that is just for the comforts that men are looking for. It's usually a woman who already has children that can provide that. Childless women are not the warm figures that men are looking for, especially if he already has children and he's used to a woman being a certain kind of way. Like, with that said, every woman is different. Every situation is different. I'll just say in my case, I'm just not very welcoming in that way. I'm not welcoming to opening up my legs quickly to men. I'm not open to cooking for men, especially if I just met you. Now, if I take my time to get to know you, that's a different story. But at hello, I'm not really open to that. And it's not that I don't have intentions for marriage when I date someone. It's because I have intentions for marriage when I meet someone as to why I'm not going to open my legs immediately for him. I would like him to really get to know me as a person. And there are certain things that I'm just not going to hurry up and go ahead and do for him, like make him dinner. What I see with a lot of my friends who already have kids, they're quickly making a man dinner. They're quickly opening up their legs. And men respond to that. And two of them have gotten married. And they already had children before they met these men. I'm not saying that men are running towards that. I'm saying that's where men eventually end up So when guys talk to me, they always get excited when they first talk to me. They're like, "Oh, you don't have any kids? Oh, wow." But then when they realize how centered I am around my own life because I'm single and childless, they then begin to realize, okay, this is not an easy box to open here. And they end up with a woman who already has kids, who's more loving and open and understanding. Nobody really understands what it means to for a man to get a home cooked meal when he gets home from work. That's something men can't really break from that. So, with that said, I'm just waiting for the response.
Yeah, I don't have too much to say. Secret identity. I'm gonna say one thing, and you can reply. Look. I don't. Like I said, I don't have too much to say, Miss Return and Sender. I'm going to. I'm just going to respectfully, disagree with you. You have your views. I have my views. We don't have to see eye to eye. I just don't really know a lot of what you said to be the reality for most men, especially childless men. But it's okay. What do you have to say, Secret Identity?
Okay, so I'll make my points really quick. I think, Brittany, did you want to say anything? I don't want to.
I kind of did because that was kind of wild to me. I can't lie. I'm sorry, no. It was a little bit of virtue signaling. I can't lie. Of I don't open my legs, but my friends and people I know who have kids do, and that's why they get married and I don't. Sounds like virtue signaling. I'm so humble and good and virtuous, and that's why I don't get picked. That's what it sounded like. I don't know if that's the intention. But certainly I don't think that women who have children are more likely to bust it wide open because they know the ramifications of busting it wide open. So they're not more likely to do it than someone who doesn't, that or vice versa. It's kind of a strange thing to place your issue of not pairing on. But everyone is different. Every dating marketplace is different. So that's all I can attribute that to.
And I want to say one more thing before Secret Identity speaks. And then another quick thing is, I mean, I don't really know too many men that's either demanding or expecting a woman that they're not in an exclusive relationship with to be making them meals, and that's why, like Brittany's saying, I forgot if you even said where you were located earlier, Mr. Return to Sender, but I just don't know that to be, I just never heard of that before. That's just that's also strange to me. But go ahead, Secret Identity.
Okay, so I'll try to make my points real quick. So yeah, to Brother Humble, when I was making my point earlier, I was just trying to point out that, most men that have kids will typically get involved with somebody who has kids faster than the person that doesn't have kids. That was my only point. I'm not saying that they wouldn't or they would, but I guess I am saying that they typically wouldn't that quick. And I did make the clarification saying that, a lot of women out here already have kids. So it's going to be kind of hard for those men that don't have kids to not get involved with somebody who have kids. I'm getting lost with what I'm saying. But anyways, let me fast forward. I was going to say this. So Humble made a really good point also, saying that, hey, if I do take this lady on that has like 7 kids by 20 different baby daddies, I know I'm just exaggerating with the numbers, but you have a lot that comes with that. You have a whole lot that comes with it. So you can have the crazy baby daddies that you have to fight off. And when you go to the barbershop, I'm only just using that example because it's recent and people know about it. You have that. You have the fact that, again, it's a financial burden. It's a lot more that you're putting on your plate just to help out. You got the other factor that Noble brought up, saying that, hey, you got all these kids. I don't have any kids, but I want to have kids. But right now you're saying no, or you got your tubes tied. So what am I gaining? Am I getting anything? So you got those factors that a lot of these guys, and then think about it like this, woman. Please listen to me. Please listen to me. So let's entertain the thought. Okay, so yeah, you get this guy who has no kids, but he does one kid, and you say, nope, I don't want any more kids. Sometimes these guys will go outside of that marriage or that dynamic and have a kid outside of you two, you know what I'm saying? Like you're
You
married.
talking to me?
No, I'm not talking to you. I don't even know you. So
Oh.
I just heard you. I'm just seeing you tonight. But I'm saying in general, what I do is I make observations. I observe a lot of things that happen in reality.
I have kids. I'm not against having more. It has to make sense.
Right. But no, I'm not talking about you. No, nothing that I speak of is ever personal. My thing, I always do like generalized statements. Sometimes people get triggered and they get mad. What are you saying? I'm like, no, I'm not talking. I don't even know your case or what you're going through. But when I do make my statements is typically general because I do hear a lot of these stories. You know what I'm saying? Like a dude might get with a lady that already has a bunch of kids and she's like, no, I don't want to have any more kids. So let's be honest. These guys are still wanting to have kids so bad that they will step outside of that marriage and then have a kid behind her back, which is not a good thing. So I'm not advocating. I'm not saying that it's a good thing. I'm not even condoning any of this stuff. I'm just giving the realities that some people don't talk about. They just sweep it under the rug, or they just don't even want to face the facts. So that's all I'm doing, and I'm gonna land with that.
Zilla, did you want to say something, or Miss Return to Center? Did you have a response to what he just said?
Yes. I
Go ahead.
think what's going on here, I don't know if anyone is really understanding the things that I'm trying to say here, but I hear things from both men and women that seem delusional to me. One, if you just look at the numbers, most Black women, especially over the age of 30, have children. Okay. And two, most of these high earners that women are saying that they're looking for in our community is 1%. So when I hear men say, well, I don't want a woman that's a single mom, or I hear women say, well, I want a 6-figure earner, both sides sound delusional just in the numbers alone. Like I said, most men are not chasing women with children, but that's where they end up eventually.
Can I say
Look
something?
at the numbers. Look at the numbers. Chances are that when you meet a woman that she has a child, percentage-wise, is pretty high. Chances are when you meet a man that he makes an income that's not $600,000 a year, that's where you're going to end up. And let's just be real here with the numbers and what's going on out here. Yes, I can agree. Most men, it is not their first choice to be with a woman with no children. But the numbers don't lie. Especially if you're a Black man who is of a certain age, who is looking for a Black woman. It's pretty hard to find a Black woman out here after a certain age that doesn't have children.
I know my man wanted to address secret identity. I just want to say
one second, one quick second, because Miss Return Center, just really quick. See, I just want to bet this. Secret identity did say, like, he did definitively say that there's a lot of women that like do have kids, and it's going to be it's kind of like very hard. He said this. He said it's like kind of hard for men to like even come across a good amount of women that don't have kids. But go ahead, secret identity. Then you can speak to.
Yeah. So I did as soon as I got up on this panel. That was like one of the first things that I did say. So it's nothing to do with delusion. I made it as clear as day, saying that hey, a lot of these men would prefer. They would prefer. Seriously, I'm not going to sit here and say that they would rather be with somebody who has kids. I mean, and then again, it's not me downplaying women with kids. There's nothing wrong with women with kids. It's a great thing. It's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing life into this world. What I was saying is that the men would typically prefer to have somebody if they don't have kids. They would prefer to have somebody that doesn't have any kids. They would prefer that, ma'am. That's all I was saying. Now, at the end of the day, yes, you're correct. And I did mention that, you know what I'm saying? That majority of women already have kids, so these guys basically have no choice. If we're going to be honest, because there's so many men that want to be in a relationship, so they have no choice but to get with the women that already have kids, because there are women that are already having kids like at an early age. So then when they get to a certain age in their life, it's like, this is what you got to choose from, fellas. Sorry, not sorry, but this is what you got. And I'll end with that.
I'm just gonna one of the things I would say to young black men. I'm still a relatively young black man, especially compared to men who've been on this earth longer than me. If I could just speak to you young men, I get it. Absolutely. If a woman's already a mother and you feel like you don't want to be a father to children, maybe stay away from her, maybe not deal with her. But let's just say you want to be a father and you got your head on your shoulders right, you know how to be a man and all those type of things. Just gonna throw a perspective out there for you. I want y'all to think about it. It's hard to carry a baby to term. It's not an easy thing, and every woman body ain't meant to do it. Just so y'all know, just because a woman don't got no child, don't mean that if she was to have a child that it's going to be a great pregnancy. It's not going to be a pregnancy without problems. Your child's not going to come out with issues. I'm not saying if you have a baby with a woman that does have children that you won't have issues. What I'm saying is that a woman's body goes through so many emotions. A woman goes through so many emotions. Her body goes through a lot. And if you're going to take the chance of rolling the dice of having a child, and you want that kid to be healthy, are you going to pick someone who hasn't ever had a child, don't know what they've been doing with their body, don't know what men they had in their body, don't know what they've been doing with themselves, or you got a woman who has brought children to term, she's been a wife or she's been a girlfriend, or she's had situations that didn't end in her favor, whether the father there or not. If you're going to pick a woman to have a child, a woman that's already a mother, a woman that can demonstrate to you in real time, she can take care of a child. She can be there for the child. She can be there for you. She's nourishing. You telling me you going to give a woman who ain't never demonstrated that a chance to be a mother, or a woman that's already demonstrated that it is a mother?
I'm gonna give the former the chance. Look. brother. Hey, what's up, Kenzie? How you doing? I know, man. I moved on to bigger, better things than TikTok, but brother, I understand. I've heard.
Can I speak to what he's talking to? Because he's
You
not.
know, wait, one second, one second. I've heard. I know you're a parent. I've heard other people, even my age, that are parents. Present that proposition. And I understand it. It has some merit to it, but at the end of the day, like Secret Identity said, as you know, and as especially young men are advised by the woman in their family, start your own family, like start your own legacy. Yeah, that woman that already has kids has already shown that she's been able to carry kids and bring them to term, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to choose to have my first kids with her over a childless woman. Absolutely not.
Okay, can I speak to that? Because I think I get what you're saying, Noble. Because like you want the fresh womb, I guess. You want to be the first person to bring child forth through that particular womb, right? But there are some men who aren't competing with first to the womb. Because even if you're first that she birthed a child with, you're not the first that probably hit that. It's probably not. Probably not. Probably not. So it's like it's a fake first. It's not even a real first. But at the end of the day, I can speak to those type of things because I have had men who are childless, who are well-to-do. They definitely can pick a woman and have option of women who are childless to choose from. And the moment that they found out that I was getting a divorce, we're not playing. And I don't think it has a lot to do with access and things that you gain by being a married man and having a family. There's a lot of networking that happens behind the scenes between your wife and the wife of those who are of high net worth. Noble, you're an accountant, right? Like there are things, right, that happen. I mean, I worked on Wall Street. There's just certain types of interactions that you gain through behind the scenes social things that will put you ahead, right? And honestly, as a person who's a mother and have my kids in private school, a lot of that happens in private schools. A lot of that happens behind the scenes between your wife and the other wives and the play dates and you being there and it like up leveling you. So if you have a woman who already has children, who's already in that scene, who's already gone through the process of getting selected, it's very hard to get in there. And then she's in there already and you're going to have children with her. And now you're in there by default. And now you get to have that network. And now you get to expand. And now you get to pull yourself up and have more business opportunities than you had before. Yeah, it can kind of work out in your favor if you did choose a woman who was already in that. If you know to choose a woman that's already in it, you might be too young to know that, right? Someone might be too young or too inexperienced to know to go that route. But there are plenty of men that at least I've come in contact with already that know that, right? And that are aware of what I can bring. I hate the phrase bring to the table, but they're just aware of my network fusing with theirs and what that can be for them. And they want to be a part of that.
Well, I understand that, Britt, but you're also probably dating men in your age demographic, right?
They have to be older.
Right. Okay. Okay. Older. Yeah. So, yeah, they're going to be, they're probably going to see, they're probably going to even try to look at things from that angle, even initially. And yes, listen, I'm not saying I'm not talking down on single mothers. Like they're not because a woman is a single mother doesn't mean that she's not a valuable woman. There are a lot of women that are single mothers. There are a lot of women that have kids that are way better options than a lot of childless women. But like when Zilla was talking about, she's already had a kid, so she can prove that she has a kid. Just like how people say, oh, like, that man already has he already has a son, so I know he's going to be a good father. It doesn't mean that a childless man, that when he has a kid, that he doesn't have potential to be a great father either. So I don't think that's a good argument. And yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, oh, Brittany's attractive and she has her children in the Montessori school and she has good connections in this, that, and the third, but there's childless women that got good connections too. Like, you know what I'm saying? That I can build with too. So I understand where y'all are coming from, but it's still no for me. Go ahead, Zilla.
I get it. Listen, I'm not here to convince no man. I'm just saying, you can be a man and have a child and go after whatever woman you're looking for. I'm just saying that, a man that's been around a little bit longer than you, and just if I was giving some people some advice, when they're younger, just like I said, I didn't get here. I'm happy to be here. Not that old, but there are we y'all know what's going on. Y'all young men, come on, man, y'all know what's going on. These women, they doing what they got to do. They empowered. They whatever. They're going to Miami and talking about they got boyfriend, and then they go down there. But I mean, like, come on, man. It's people out here that a woman that told you she got a boyfriend, and you just still have to do. You got to do whatever you need to do. I'm just saying, men have done that. Okay, not me. I ain't saying I did it. I ain't saying I didn't do it either. I'm just saying that it didn't happen somewhere in the world. Some men didn't had it where they didn't have people wives and girlfriends and stuff, and that might be part of the reason why some of these men can't commit either, because they figure they're gonna be the next. The karma is gonna be when they get a wife that somebody gonna do what they did to somebody else. You got to think about that too. It's other variables. Some men are out here like that, but I'm just saying, like, it's women out here that went out here and got rid of children their whole life, and then when they're ready to have a child, they really can't because their body can't process it. You know what I'm saying? Their body can't
take it because it didn't went through this clinic too many times. I'm just saying. I'm not saying all. But I'm just saying that's a variable that some men have to think about. Like, you don't know what type of woman you even talking to. You don't know what you gotta do your education on it. So, and just like women gotta do their education on men, right? They gotta make sure he ain't no man out here with a bunch of baby mamas and not taking care of his kids. So as a man, you gotta make sure she ain't got rid of too many kids because you want to have some. That's all I'm saying. Why can't you just check up on it?
Secret identity, handle this, man.
I just want to make a quick point. I'm not even going to talk about what he was talking, but I was going to say this. So whenever I make these comments or whatever, these statements, it's not me bashing anything. It's just me just giving you women perspective from a male's lens. Some of the stuff, there can be some outliers. I'll admit that. There could be some outliers with some of the stuff that I speak on, but I do prefer to speak on the majority when I have these discussions. So please do not take this as a bash or a slight or diss when it's not. It's just me trying to show women like how quite a bit of men think. I did want to ask Brittany a question. I know I'm not saying like to rush anything like that, but to say going forward, would you want a guy that doesn't have any kids, or would you want him to have kids, or it doesn't matter to you?
I think my preference would be if he had children, but a lot of men who don't have children have been approaching me, so I'm open to seeing what they're saying.